G'day, this is Scotty Tucker. In this video I just want to explain two of the worst weeds that you can get in a dam. When these types of weeds are when I say two worst, they're the two worst emergent weeds, the ones that grow up from the bottom and come up above the water. So this one here is Cumbungi. It's also known as cattail in the US. Here in Australia it might be called, people call it cigar rush, bulrush. You can see it looks like somewhat of a cat's tail or a cigar, which is why they get that name. And the reason why it's so invasive is that these flowers essentially or seed pods, whatever you want to call them, turn to like fairy floss, and then in the wind they just blow everywhere. So they just spread so quickly through a dam and in neighbouring properties as well. And the one next to it is another highly invasive weed called spike rush. And this one's, again, highly problematic. It'll overrun a dam quite quickly. This one's sort of somewhat hollow on the inside. Both of these are nigh on impossible to try and pull out once they're bigger than about this. So once they get into a dam, they can be a bit of a nightmare. In clear water, you see them sort of growing into up to a couple of metres deep. So if you've got a shallow dam and these weeds come in, you want to deal with them really, really quickly before they end up like this and choking the whole system. And they will completely choke a whole dam and turn it from an open water body into a swamp. Now, control methods for both of these are essentially the same or similar. Your options are, like I said, if they're young enough, you might try and pull them out, and you want to be vigilant to make sure that you do get them when they're young enough. When it reaches this stage, your options are you can cut them out with like brush cutters or hand cutters and just go through and cut them out and remove them. What will happen if you use that method, the cutting method, what's going to happen is that you're going to get reshoots quite quickly, and you're going to be having this battle going on for potentially a few years while you cut regrowth, cut regrowth, cut regrowth. Cumbungi especially has got quite a large root mass that will go through an entire dam, and so you've got energy stores in that root mass, and so when you cut it, it'll shoot up new growth based on the energy reserve that's stored in the root mass. And the reason why you need to then keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting, and ideally you cut below water level, and what will happen then is over time it will deplete its energy reserve and then drop off, and finally you win the battle, but it takes quite a while. Similar scenario with spike rush, you need to keep cutting and cutting that. Other options are to spray it, so you spray it with an aquatically registered herbicide, and then the plant will die off. Problem with that is that when you spray these types of weeds, they don't actually fall down. So you spray and then you've got from green to brown, but it's still there and it's still upright, and you've essentially still got to go through and cut and cut and cut. So it can also be a good idea to do a combination of cutting and spraying. You might spray it first, come through and cut it, then spray regrowth. You might cut it first, then spray the shoots as they come up with regrowth. Another option that you can do also is to smother it with a product called a lake bottom blanket. So what you do with that is cut it, again below water level ideally, and then you cover it with these specialised tarps to stop the sunlight getting the plant, to try and stop that regrowth. You leave that there for a period of potentially months to essentially just completely starve the plant out of sunlight and kill it off slowly that way. The other method that you can do, and when it reaches this condition, the best method to do is to actually get an excavator in and scrape it out, because this dam has been neglected. It's in pretty bad shape. It's virtually holding no water, so even if you try and win the battle with other methods, it's pointless because you need to do works on the dam anyway. If your dam's considerably larger than this, then what you'll do is just get a long reach excavator with a good operator to try and pull out as much as you can, then go in and cut and spray and smother or do whatever other control method that you're going to implement. You do need to be careful when you're working on a dam that's in good shape to make sure that the operator doesn't go too deep and essentially run the risk of penetrating the clay lining and putting a hole in your dam. So very, very problematic, these weeds. You're always better off to be vigilant and get them immediately when you first see them popping up. Just get in there and get them out as best you can.